Okay, let's take a question from Joe.
Hey, Jason. My name is Joe Selvik, and I am a co-founder of FixtureFab.com. We provide PCBA test fixture solutions that makes testing hardware easier. My question for you is based on the reshoring of manufacturing to the United States. And I would like to know where you see the greatest opportunity for startups to have a role in this.
Okay, this is a great question. We have some concerns here in America after coronavirus that certain things in the supply chain we were unable to get and that we don't make them here in America anymore. Typically, on the short list, PPE and drugs, like pharmaceutical drugs, and those are all made in China. And we have a dependency there, right? And so we found out, oh, wow, when there's a pandemic, we might not have the stuff that we need. So we could stockpile or we could start making stuff here. And there's a bigger issue, which is, do we want to have our country be dependent on an authoritarian communist country, i.e. China, or any of the countries that we've been dependent on that are authoritarian? We had the same issue with oil previously. With Saudi Arabia and in the Middle East, and when we became energy independent, and when solar and natural gas and fracking and all this technology came out, boy, did that change our relationship with the Middle East. And most people would argue for the better. We're no longer dependent. They don't have the upper hand with us. But when it comes to the relationship with China, they do have the upper hand. Now, the rub here is that a startup trying to address this, it's an opportunity, but you're at risk of, if this trend actually emerges where more people build stuff in the United States. So I think you're going to have to study which things are going to be made here in the United States. And you're going to have to just meet with those people and, take it month by month, quarter by quarter, because there is a chance that coronavirus passes, people forget that this is an issue, and we go right back to being dependent on China. And it's not a xenophobic thing. This is a supply chain issue. If we become really good at supply chain, which we did, we will have just a very small amount of inventory. Now, in a way, that's super efficient. It's a great thing because you don't have wasted inventory. You don't have to throw things away. You make things just in time. And actually, Tim Cook at Apple was really good at managing that supply chain. But when things go wrong, oh boy, you don't want to be in a position where all the prescription drugs that you need, or some large percentage of them, are only made in China. Or when we need masks and ventilators, we're unable to build that stuff. Now, you saw over, let's call it 3 to 6 months, we've been able to ramp up that production. But I think it's a bright future. I would think about it in a very holistic way. And I would be part of that movement of manufacturing in the United States. One way for you to be part of that change is to start a podcast or a blog and a social media account, or all three of those things, around this topic, and trying to build some consensus around who's doing this. So if you make the content, you start interviewing people on your podcast, or you write blog posts about it, or you just tweet about it all day long and engage people and make lists of people who are in manufacturing in the United States, you can become the center of attention for that discussion, which is what I did for startups, right? When I had my magazines, when I have this podcast itself that you're listening to right now, when I host events like Launch Festival or Foundry University, I've become a center, right? A super router, we would call it in the industry, which means I get to not have to do the research of what great companies are coming. They basically come to us, right? And that's what you could be. If you become that center hub of the content and the discussion, well, people might come to you with the opportunity. So good luck with it. I think it's important work.